I just will start with one question, and after we can start the discussion. Okay. Is that I try to show some example of brand emerging based on issues and things like that, but on the global market. What do you see in Nigeria? Do you think you have the same issues, questioning, and that could be an opportunity to create brand, or do you see different opportunities?
Hi, everyone. There is always opportunities that comes mostly from, I would even say, disadvantages. So the fact that some resources are not sort of like accessible to us in Nigeria, that has made so many designers to kind of like look, like they say, look within, look around, and see what's available and just make magic. We see a lot of people like here. The fabrics that are available to us, that are accessible to us most of the time, are fabrics that have been used over the years by our forefathers and all of that. So, when we were thinking of making bucket hats as opposed to fabrics that are now available, we just thought about ashoke, which is what our forefathers used to like wear for like weddings and very interesting parties and all of that. So we decided to look into that, and that has worked perfectly. So yeah, disadvantages have always created opportunities for us here. Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, I think when it comes to fashion in Nigeria, the major disadvantage, or one of the most things we are struggling with is really gaining access to the international markets, because here in Nigeria, we don't only put on things that are designed by the designers around here. We also buy things from the Western world, but then it's really difficult for the people in the Western world to be able to buy things from here, and that would be a reason enough for people here in Nigeria not to want to create fashion, But then it's actually a good reason to create fashion when you look at it the other way around. It wants you to want to, like someone like me wants me to want to like try to discover what can be done in a way that, like, why are we buying from the West, and the West are struggling to buy from us, and it just wants me to want to dig in and maybe improve or something like that, to just get to be able to convince them to want to buy from us. Yeah. So I don't know if that could.
No, it's interesting what you say, but especially, for example, you participate to a trade show last season. Mm-hmm. You had order from French or other stores, Western store. Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what was attractive for them in your brand, and why did they buy your garment and your style? And do you think that what you wanted to say about your brand was understood or by these buyers and these stores, or they just maybe understood something else, but which was also interesting for them?
Well, I think they understood perfectly what I've always wanted to say about the brand, and they've come to appreciate the freshness that comes with it. They've come to really appreciate the craftsmanship and in how we play with really traditional materials, you know. They find it very interesting, and excuse me, and they're really excited about it. So yeah.
Okay. And for you, do you think that also this what is can see as restriction for you, but that lead you to find new solution, and for example using these traditional fabrics because they are available, can become also a reason of attraction for the Western industry or for Western stores?
Yes, absolutely. The storytelling is really important. You know, when they first off they get to understand the story, what's behind our fabric choices, the design icons, and everything that we use when we put together pieces. That's also very interesting for them. They find that really like fascinating. And other than that, they love the fact that we have a community. You understand, like the whole skate community. The fact that Jomi was able to like create this whole thing in a place where nothing like this really like existed. There was no model, but he was able to just fight for what he loved, and then he became something really important. So they also love that community, community-based brand. You know, people say here that it takes a village to raise a child. We always say it takes like a community to raise a very good brand. You know, if you have a good community of people that are willing to just stick with you through whatever, you know, understanding that you created an opportunity for them, you know, that also is what I think really like attracted or still attracts people to WAF. Yeah.
And do you think that your brand is also based on this on the skateboard culture and everything, which is maybe something not obvious when you don't know Africa, or that you don't rely, directly with the African culture? That the surprise created by that was also something interesting for buyers outside.
Yes, of course. Yes. Yeah, like Jamie would always say that he's a crazy person, and people kind of like love good crazy. You know, so doing something that it's against like all odd here. You know, he even kept saying it that even my mom said I wouldn't make it. You know, stuff like that. But then, yeah, I think that's also a very important part of the whole thing, when they see that this is not supposed to be done here, and this dude has been doing this here for a very long time and doing it well. So, yeah, that's also a very interesting part of it.
Okay. And so you said that, I mean, it was very attractive for, I mean, the fact that you work with like different maybe materials and things like that. But did you met also some issue and misunderstanding between you and these international buyers? Or was it smooth all the time? And I would say not only at the order moment, but after in the relationship.
Yeah, I mean it's hard for business to be smooth all the time. Yeah, for me, we've had our products in out there in Europe. We've had in America. We've had in like different part of the world. But you know, like most of them have been like us dealing like directly with customers, you know. So just like when you get to deal with a store and they come up with like a different kind of expectation. They understand their client base, you know, the clients, the kind of people that walk into their store and how they react to certain things. And of course, be that we are working with like a whole new kind of materials.
So it means that you adapt a bit.
Yeah, they want to tread carefully, you know. So of course we've always adapt. We always, like even as we are dealing with B2C, like dealing directly with our clients, we always adapt, which I think is one of the things that have also helped us to grow at this rate, because we always want to listen. When I design, I don't know, I want to say, goodness, I think I need water. Yeah, but I want to say crazy. Could you help me? Thank you. But yeah, I tend to take things to the very extreme. But then, thank you. But then what I do also is, when this thing gets to meet my clients and then I get to listen to them and they're like, okay, this, that, I always listen without stepping away from who we are, our brand identity and all of that. So yes, we had to do a few tweaks, which for me was very interesting, because I came to see it, I was like, okay, I love it too. You know what I mean?
You don't see it as a limitation of your creativity?
No. I love it. It's something that is really just really within what I do, what I design and all of that. It's just like, okay, can we just, of course you have to be sensitive to the fact that these people are also coming from like a different culture, and they've been experiencing different things, and yeah, I don't want to go too much, because I know you probably have other questions.
No, I mean, go on.
Yeah, but of course, I've come to like learn a lot from the adaptation, because I learn also a lot from listening to people. And when I listen, like I will not only hear that, okay, you would rather want it this way. I'm gonna hear that you prefer this texture of fabric. I'm gonna hear that you are leaning towards this colorway. So yeah, we did a whole lot of a couple tweaking.
Okay.
But yeah, something very exciting. We're very happy to do.
And is it the same thing for you? Because you are talking about your community. On the other hand, you have also you work with a very creative mind, that has strong personality and everything. So do you listen also to your community to sometimes adapt the design, or how does it work?
Yes, of course. Feedback is really important for us. We take a lot of things into consideration in terms of, in as much as our brand is, I don't know, is unisex the word? Anybody can wear whatever. But some people still say, oh, you don't make things for women, you don't make things for women. So we started making a capsule every year that we call Wolf Babes, that is just straight for just women, just women clothing, and we have women design it, we have women shoot it, women model it, So, yeah, we listen, and we put in practice as much as we can.
Okay. And so, where do you put the balance between being you and being the brands, or creating new things, and listen to your community or to the buyers or your customer? Where do you think at what moment there is a limitation and you have to just say, I'm the designer, or where do you put the balance?
Well, for me, it's very, very, very difficult. It's very difficult for someone to move me away from my way of doing things, because it's not something I learn. The way I design and the way I think when I'm designing is not something that I studied. It's who I am as a person. So it's just, you can come in and then you're like, you need something from me. And then I could look at you and I know that you are a classic person. I cannot give you a tailored suit. and which is something I'm always like curious about. I'm like, what if I collaborate with like a fashion house that is really into like polished clothing? I would have loved to see what my brand could say in that kind of fashion environment. But yeah, I'll listen to you. I'll look at you, and also like I'll listen to you. I'll ask you a lot of questions. I'll tell you. I'll ask you. Oh, so then what are the colors? How do you like to feel when you? And then at the end of the day, I could create you something that is not super duper. I usually ask, in the scale of 1 to 10, how crazy do you can you go? And then I could adapt it to that, still well within our brand. I mean, take for instance, this could be an easy fit. Like this shirt could be a very easy fit for even like a very classic person, right? So this is not extreme, but this could be extreme because to some people, because of course, I mean, there's a little bit of this and that here, you know. So yeah, I think of course we it's always good. It's gonna be very difficult for any form of adaptation to shift us around like us away from
Your core in essence.
yeah what we do.
Okay. And how, because I was talking about trends on cycle of fashion, so how do you feel that you have to adapt to that, or it's something that comes naturally, intuitively, because it's something you feel? How do you work on that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course. I mean, when it comes to just last year when we were having like this session with Emmanuel, and she was like, "Oh, there's something like trend and fashion," and then when it comes to trend can be colors. It can just really be the silhouette people are leaning towards in the time. I'm not gonna lie. I don't look at trend. I don't get influenced by trend when I'm designing.
But are you influenced by, even not trend, like you see, by other brands, what's going on, I don't know, during Fashion Week, or not at all?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Are you also influenced by other brands, or at least are you looking at other brands, at what's going on during every Fashion Week, I don't know, in London or in New York, or not at all?
No, if I look at other brands and what they do, I'm probably just trying to chill and watch fashion. When I design, I think more of where I'm coming from. Yeah, which is very, very unfair because we serve global market. But I think a lot about where I'm coming from, like what is that thing that is happening there? What used to happen? I don't know. I could just, I could just think of a scarf, right? And design a whole collection from just that single idea. You know, for instance, I really like this. The skirt, for instance, it's like a wrap skirt, but then I really love the idea of a wrapper. I don't know if you're familiar with wrapper, like wrapper. You know, are you familiar with it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I could think of something like that. And like, okay, we can. Of course, I mean, I can go literally, and then I'll just think of it, and like. I think of like that kind of idea, and then I think in terms of how can this be modern, contemporary, and I think how can this be comfortable. Those are the things I really think about. How can it be very comfortable? And then I think about we're very conservative because of course, like in this part of the world, our client base are really people from 30 years. Of course, we have a lot of the 20s these days, but yeah, they cover up a lot. So I think in terms of, okay, now that I think in terms of like, okay, oh my goodness, this is too exposing. Or my clients want to breathe. They want to be very comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think about those
This-
kind of things
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. Yeah.
More than trends and everything.
Yeah, I think about, okay, what did they really like? How do we now give them a fresher version of that? So yeah.
And you, and because for example, I was talking about the place of sportswear or sport inspiration in the like as inspiration in the fashion industry. So it's the same. Do you look at trends? What's going on the I mean the sportswear, or I mean it's also something first your own identity, universe, and how do you work?
Trend is really important for most fashion people, but for us, we happen to have a creative director that is kind of like impulsive with his ideas. He could walk into the studio and it's raining outside and he's like, let's make an umbrella, let's make a raincoat. So he's more purpose driven. He comes in and everything we think about is just function. If it's nice, is it really useful though? And there was this period where it was like a football jersey thing. Everybody was making football jersey. We wanted to tap in as well, but we couldn't meet up. We had production issues, so we couldn't meet up. We just left the whole thing. And then I think it was towards December time, we wanted to have one of our friend from South Africa that has a football brand. He said he was coming to Lagos, and we were like, "Oh, let's play a football match." And then, okay, now we can make a jersey because we have like an actual reason to make a jersey. Not just because everyone is making football jerseys and all of that. So yeah, it's not necessarily about trends for us. It's just like function and purpose. Why do we need it? Why?
Okay. So maybe.